Hi, thanks for joining me today. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing how your past is affecting your present and specifically triggers during this time around COVID and everything that's happening in the world. I'm going to give you 4 parts on how your past is affecting your present and what you can do about it, and how you can heal these aspects within or move in a direction towards your healing from looking at your current triggers that you're experiencing and connecting them back to the past. For healing technologies and advice for your transformation, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell if you want to be notified when I put out new content every week. There is so much happening in the world right now on so many different levels. It doesn't matter where you stand, where your beliefs are. You are being bombarded left, right, and center with information that really does activate the fight or flight system. It really does activate those fear centers within, and many emotions can arise. I truly believe, and in my perspective, that when triggers do arise, that they are coming up for a reason, and they are actually coming up for healing. So instead of looking at our triggers as something that's negative or bad, we can really look at our triggers as something that is pointing us in a direction to where we may be blind or maybe unconscious to. And they point us in this direction for us to be able to heal. For those of you that don't know me and may be new to this channel, I have worked in mental health and addictions for multiple years, and I now have my own practice where I work one-on-one with clients, and I really am passionate about moving my clients in a direction back towards the authentic self, towards their authenticity. If you would like to connect with me, there are multiple links in the description below. There's my website there, and if you would like to book a session with me, I'm offering free discovery sessions right now with my clients, and you can book a session online. Okay, so we'll move into part 1, which is your triggers are coming up for a reason, and they are showing up for you to rise up and level up. Our triggers are showing up for a reason, and they are not to do with the present. They have to do with the past. So something that we went through that was difficult in childhood, that is in resemblance in the present moment, is triggering that old wound from the past. I have recognized that our triggers are here to show us the way. They are not something that's bad or that we need to get rid of. They are pointing to something underneath that needs to be healed or wants to be healed. And if we have the motivation to want to heal that, we can start to get curious about our triggers in a new way. Instead of being shameful about them or frustrated with them or sad about them or judging them, we can really get curious like a little kid and really trying to step into that perspective of kind of a detachment from them, and that more not being identified with your triggers. So having a lighter perspective within this can really, really help this process. And so if we're getting too intense about it, then it's just only going to create more negative energy within that. So just really taking a step back and becoming the observer and watching what triggers come up and noticing what triggers come up. And of course, this can be uncomfortable. I wish someone had told me when I first started doing this to not take things so seriously. So I just want to pass that on. Just add some lightness to this work. So we'll move into part 2, which is really understanding and navigating our triggers and our emotions and feelings and how we feel in this moment, and then relating it back to the past and understanding the whole circle of it. So I'm going to give you an example of this. Somebody that feels like they are on the go all the time, they have a big social life, they're out and about, they work a lot, they're just always out doing something and rarely spending very much time alone. And now all of a sudden lockdown comes in, right? And the world's kind of quiet down and shut down, and they might experience a restlessness that comes up. Well, it might seem new to them, but actually this restlessness has probably been around for a long time, and their coping mechanism was to go be busy, to be productive, be with friends. If they felt this restlessness come up in the past, they may not have really paid full attention to it. Just know that there's this uneasiness, and they're like, I gotta get out, I gotta go do something. So they'll call up a friend, and then they'll go, and then that restlessness gets pushed to the wayside, right? There's something else that fulfills within that. But that restlessness is always underneath there, but it's just more obvious in the times right now. So what does that bring up? It can bring up frustration and anxiety within, and maybe even a loneliness, or maybe even not being able to spend time with themselves because they've been so busy that they've never really taken the time to really connect back with themselves. So this can be a really hard thing to go through right now. But understanding that this restlessness and needing to fulfill that so we don't feel that is a coping mechanism to go be busy in the world so we don't have to feel this, right? I think we've all probably experienced a restlessness within us. I know that I used to feel this way all the time. I guarantee if you experience this, it goes way back to childhood and you picked up being busy. We pick it up in our society. We're always told, do more, be busy, be productive. So it's ingrained in us. And then if depending on how our parents were and how they pushed us or influenced us in that way, and then how we grew up. So these will all be factors in how we really experience ourselves, and if we do become restless, if there's not a lot to do or if we're not productive. Another one is fear. There's so much fear coming up in the world right now, and there's so much fear in the collective. I'm going to give you an example of something that came up for me. And in the very, very, very beginning of COVID, I was quite fearful because I didn't understand what was happening. And I was hearing that people were on life support. They were having to be put on life support. And I had been on life support 10 years ago. And it was to do with my lungs as well, in which COVID was speaking to people's lungs. And this brought up this massive fear in me. And I had thought that I had dealt with any fears around being sick or even dying. I really did. But then I realized that, okay, there's more to learn here. There's more to heal here. There's still this fear here. So even this fear that's coming up that could be based on the future, it's actually based around my trauma that I had gone through in the past. So I saw that it was coming up for healing. So just like I gave you the example about someone that's restless, if this is coming up for you, it's coming up for healing. Instead of running away from it or pushing it away or staying or perpetuating that fear, we want to come back within and sit with that restlessness or sit with that fear and really try to understand what's underneath and ask the questions. Why is this coming up? Why am I scared? What am I scared of? Am I scared of getting sick? Am I scared of dying? Am I scared of death? Now, these are all very normal fears, and these fears are going to be experienced on a collective right now because we are in the middle of chaos right now. And I'm going to give you a third example of something you can use to really dive deeper into healing through your triggers. And I know that I personally get triggered and I have to do the work a lot, and it's lessened and lessened, but it's on other people's belief systems. And as unconditional as I feel I am, I still am human and I still have judgments that come up. And so whether you are for masks or against masks, whether you feel that this is a plandemic or you feel that it is a true pandemic, it doesn't matter. But where you stand, it's natural to get triggered to the opposite, right? Because there's so much division right now. And I think it's so important for us to really see our judgments of others, because the world's not going to heal until we heal. And the more that we are judging others, the more division there is in the world. So when you are healing yourself, you're also choosing to heal the collective, which is what the world needs right now. So when you notice judgments are coming up around others, just know that this is coming up for healing, that you can heal these aspects, that you can come from a higher perspective and understand where people are coming from, and knowing that it's really not about them, that it's about you. It's bringing something up within you, whether it's fear or anger or rage. But usually with the things that are coming up, it's actually, if you look underneath even the anger, there's usually fear underneath of that. So fear of the unknown, of something that we don't understand. And again, this is connected to our past wounds of not feeling safe, right? So a lot of us didn't feel safe in our childhood. And so this time in the world is going to bring up not feeling safe. But the way to really deal with that, or to feel safe, is to address that, to really go within and ask yourself. And I've mentioned this in my other videos, and I'll probably bring it up a million times more because it's so important when you're wanting to heal, is to feel those emotions. So really identify and heal or feel your emotions, and ask yourself if it's familiar. When was the first time I felt this? How old was I when I felt this? Can you recall? Have you felt this way your whole life? Have you felt this way since you were a child? And really connect back and try to go into memories of when you first started to feel this way. And we're going to move into part 3, which is how to manage this and to change your perspective. It might be very foreign to you when I say that your triggers are coming up because they're coming up for healing. But the more and more you do this work, come back to my words, come back to this perspective that your triggers are coming up to heal the past, so you can continue in the present in a new way. So you don't have to hold on to that pain anymore. And even if it's been unconscious all these years, it still creates suffering within. Usually the unconscious creates a lot of suffering. And so when we make something conscious, we are exposing it, then we're accepting it, bringing compassion to it, and then integrating it within. So even if you can't see right now when I say that your triggers are coming up, for you to heal them, that they're not bad, they're not wrong, but they're actually your friend. After you do this work a bit, just check back in with that perspective and see if you can start to see that. And I guarantee when you start to do this work, you will be able to see that. And then I'm going to move into part 4. And I talked about this before a little bit, and it's to do with judgments of others. And I've told you how to go into your own judgments. But this is really coming from a higher perspective, trying to get to a place, or coming from a place of empathy and compassion for the other. So like I said, it's very easy to judge somebody that's on an opposite belief than you are, and it's creating so much divide in the world. But we don't need division, we need to come together. So it takes understanding that everybody is different. Everybody is on a different level of consciousness, and it takes seeing that people have their childhood trauma, their childhood difficulties that have shaped them to be who they are today. And they have had their experiences in their life that have shaped them to be who they are today. How open-minded they are, how closed-minded they are, what they're able to see, what they're not able to see. It's so easy to judge others and say that they're wrong on both sides, but nobody is wrong. Everybody is coming from their truth and their reality of how they experience life. If they were supposed to be different, they would be different. Why they aren't different is because they are exactly who they are in this moment, and that's perfect. So I think it's really important to try to take a higher perspective and see that everybody is really doing the best that they can. And this is a collective consciousness, and we all have our roles here on earth, and one is not better than the other. We're all equal in different ways. So now I've given you the 4 parts of how your past is affecting your present, and I hope these skills helped you today. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. My name is Tess. Thanks for watching.